Yes, you read that title right. The short-lived DC animated movie universe gave us the best version of Starfire that we've ever gotten in animation. So let's go point by point and examine just why this version of Starfire is so dope. And just to keep things perfectly balanced as all things should be, we'll also get into some of the cons. Right off the bat, we've got to talk about her visual design. It's not adapted from any specific source material or comic book, it's created specifically for the DCAMU. And to say that it works would be an understatement. But it's definitely more on the modest side of Starfire outfits, while still being very in character for something Starfire would wear. It also looks like a evolution of the outfit she had in TTO3. Like you could imagine that Starfire getting older and eventually dressing like this. The whole outfit has a very fun, young superhero space vibe with plenty of sex appeal. Platform wedge boots, a couple space jewels, and that random forearm band that all of her best outfits have. This isn't the outfit she came to Earth in though, so I don't know if she made this after coming to Earth or if she went back to Tamaran at some point. The outfit she came to Earth in is almost a perfect recreation of her OG outfit. At least it's a solid adaptation. I genuinely don't think we're ever gonna see this outfit make it outside of the comics, unless it's fan art or cosplay. But I've made peace with it. Life goes on. Physical trait wise, her face is perfect. It's just peak Starfire. The facial features, the lips, the nose, the eyes, all of it peak. Her height is also appropriately tall. Every time we see her standing next to Dick, she's clearly taller. Not straight up towering over him, but definitely taller. And this is true for scenes where she's not wearing shoes, so we know that she's just a tall mama, as she should be. I do wish that she were more clearly alien in her skin tone though. They took a page from the Teen Titans 03 book and gave her that muted orangish brown skin where she basically looks human. Starfire should clearly be alien, whether we're at the bright gold side or the dark orange side. There's plenty of ways to make her look not human. I also could do with way more volume in her hair. And there's no curls. Where are the curls at, man? Maybe we'll get it in that new Starfire cartoon that's coming. It's fun to dream. Next we gotta talk about the personality. And I think this is where this version of Starfire really sets itself apart from the rest. She's fun, flirty, and fierce in battle, while also being compassionate and level-headed. This is clearly a Starfire who's gotten used to being on Earth and is in control of her emotions, but she also doesn't mind letting them lead the way. This is shown really well during the Judas contract, when she practically has an existential crisis while she's moving in with Dick.
After the incident at the training field, you met with members of the team, without me.
Kori, you know I'd never undermine you, right?
They went to you. You are a great leader, so they instinctively look to you now that you're back. After all, I'm not even from your world.
Did I mention that she's actually in a happy, stable relationship with Dick Grayson? If these movies had continued on, they definitely would have gotten married.
It could have been great!
Seeing her wear her insecurities on her sleeve really speaks to how emotional she is, as well as how well she trusts Dick. But she doesn't let her emotions get the better of her to the point where she's flying off the handle over any little thing. And there are plenty of opportunities for her to do that. Take the time Damien snuck into her room and broke into her computer, for example.
What are you doing in my room? We have rules, Damien. You never trespass another person's space.
Emotional, but mature. We love to see it. She's also a person who loves to live in the moment.
Fun!
What?
That's it! That's what we need!
What who needs?
Whether that's taking the team out for a night at the carnival to let everyone let their hair down, or talking about sexy times with your boyfriend in front of said team.
You did very well. You lasted far longer this time. I meant in training, of course. He's very proficient when we have—
Kori!
But this koriand'r isn't just all words. She's also a woman of action, because she actually has a developed fighting style. Her moves have form. You can tell that she's well trained. They're not just generic punches and kicks. She also makes great use of her star bolts. She even has magical girl transformation powers, which seem to come out of nowhere, unless you're familiar with the new Teen Titans comics, where she was constantly zapping herself in and out of clothes. Before moving on to the cons, I do want to give a couple bonus points in regards to voice acting and backstory elements. Kari Walgren played Starfire in all of her DCAMU appearances, and she gives us a full, multi-layered Starfire with her performance. Never overdoing it, always comfortably in the range that you would expect for Starfire. Her regular speaking voice is very light and friendly, but there's also just this twinge of heaviness to it, which makes sense coming from a woman who was ousted by her sister in a coup and forced to go on the run while being chased by intergalactic slavers. Speaking of that coup, we never go to Tamaran, we don't see any of this. A few details are changed, but we do actually hear Commander name dropped.
My sister Commander staged a coup and took the throne. I had to flee, but I will soon return.
She also mentions the warlords of Okara, and according to Beast Boy, she brings them up so much that the others are sick of hearing about them, which is also very on brand.
To be ready for anything, you must train for everything. That was the most important lesson instilled in me by the warlords of Okara.
Them again?
The warlords of Okara didn't teach me much about cooking. I think you should pick something up on the way back.
But with that being said, let's move on to the cons, because as much as I love this version of Starfire, it ain't perfect. I mentioned earlier that the hand-to-hand combat is top-notch, and it is. Too bad Starfire's powers are nerfed into the goddamn ground. Her physical strength and the strength of her starbolts are both heavily reduced in these movies. It just sucks to see Starfire struggle against basically a bunch of scrubs for most of the movies. Like, if she's just fighting generic human henchmen, she's gonna clean house. But if she's fighting any type of demons or extra-dimensional entities, she's not gonna do all that well. Although, to be fair, even DC Comics themselves often forget how powerful Starfire can be. I also brought up her Intro to Earth scene, which is a pretty solid adaptation of her actual introduction to Earth in the comics. But as well as that scene was animated, acted, and written, it has absolutely nothing to do with the damn movie that it takes place in. This is the intro to the Judas contract, aka the most iconic Teen Titans storyline ever. Kori came to Earth in the very first issues of the new Teen Titans. You could watch that scene in its entirety and never watch the rest of the Judas contract and get everything you need from that scene. It has nothing to do with her arc in the movie at all. Her arc is being the team leader and feeling insecure about being the team leader. Which leads me to my next problem with this version of Starfire: the lack of on-screen development or solid character arc. The aforementioned insecurity about her position as leader is the closest we get to a character arc for Starfire, and it's really not even resolved in any satisfying way. I will say that this is more of how she's usually done on the team in animation. It's just like in Teen Titans 03, where she doesn't have a season dedicated to her or anything. She's more of a firm fixture of a character who helps others find their footing or stay grounded. She also challenges characters who are going through their own arcs, like Damian and Raven in Justice League vs. Teen Titans, which is all well and good for the overall plot, but it still makes me feel like our girl's being done dirty. But as bad as that may sound, that pales in comparison to how dirty she was done in Apocalypse War.
What kind of fuckery is this?
So in Apocalypse War, all the DC teams are planning on going to Apocalypse to attack Darkseid before he can attack Earth. And obviously, Starfire is among them. It doesn't work, Earth is invaded, damn near everyone just gets jacked up, including Starfire herself, bisected. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, she's brought back as a cyborg. On Darkseid's side,
Of course! Oh, yes! Yeah!
all of it happens off screen. She fights off screen. She's killed off screen. She's brought back and turned to Darkseid's side off screen. and eventually she's freed of her programming and fights back against him with the rest. The last we see of Starfire is a shot of her holding Nightwing in front of what's left of the Titan's tower. Everyone got done dirty in Apocalypse War. That was the absolute worst way to end this universe. All we can do now is hope that James Gunn learns from these mistakes and gives us another solid Starfire take that isn't just immediately destroyed. That wraps up my take on DCAMU Starfire. Now you tell me yours. Comment below and let me know how you feel about her. And after that, click this video right here to get more Alien Warrior Hippie Princess in your life. And until next time, you better keep right on simping.